Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. Go! It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know what time it is. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boy howdy. Welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury. This is the K.L.P Aftermath podcast presented by iHeartMedia. Welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it is a wonderful Friday. We hope that everybody, and we do mean this, T. We hope that everybody is getting ready to have a Grand Slam weekend. We hope that everybody enjoyed the week. You know, it's been chilly. I will say it's been rather chilly this week, you know, with the rain. I do hope that everybody stay warm because a lot of my colleagues and friends, most of them are still good, but some of my friends and colleagues, they're getting a little bit sniffy and a little bit cold because they're not bundling up when it comes down to, you know, the cold weather. It is true. And I didn't want to believe it, T. I really didn't, but I believe it now. A lot of my friends said that we were going to see a cold front after Thanksgiving. And that's exactly what I think we're getting, is that cold front after Thanksgiving, because it's a little chilly, chillier than it was on Thanksgiving or even a couple of days before Thanksgiving. But I say all that to say, hopefully everybody, guys, stay bundled up. It's getting cool out. Make sure you got your heaters running because, you know, you want your house to be nice and warm and filled with heat. Not too hot to where you're getting cooked, right? You don't want your house like 100 degrees inside. But if you are able to have some heat in your house, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to another exciting episode of the K.L.P Aftermath. Again, like I said, it is Friday. If you guys know, you know. If you follow me on social media, I post a lot on social media. But we debuted a sort of new show. And I say sort of because things have changed. The Highlight Culture is our new show that it has myself, Terry, it has Sarah and Hope that's in the show. You've got Mark and Xavion is in the show as well. It is a new show, quote unquote, new show, new title. A lot of people, because we've had our meetings and it just makes sense. Sarah and Hope, shout out to those two wonderful ladies. They do amazing on that show. It is true that show will be replacing Broco Podcast ATL. I'm happy about this change more than I am sad, simply because T's here. He's our producer. T is a producer for that show as well. And we did get a lot of comments, not on social media, but on our radio platforms, that they wanted to know why we didn't incorporate our ladies into our podcast shows. And that was a very good question, because when we did the Broco podcast, first it was Broco Podcast, just standard, but there was another podcast out there that's called Broco Podcast. So we changed it to Broco Podcast ATL. And great show, by the way. I mean, amazing show. That show didn't get changed because of low ratings, because it was just really good. But you know, things change. You know, I've seen a lot of female correspondents and female sports women who love sports. Believe it or not, I follow a lot of sports analysts on TikTok. There's this one TikToker. Her name is Annie Anger, and she knows her football. Like, she's really dope at what she does. She's done a couple shows, I think, with ESPN. I think she needs to be a correspondent on ESPN, maybe First Take or another show on ESPN, because she knows her sport. She does it. And I got to thinking after seeing Annie Eggers content on TikTok. You follow her on TikTok. She does this little, it's kind of like a skit, but she kind of reviews the NFL in a week, and she goes by all the games, and then she kind of gives her take, but she do it in a funny way, right? And Sarah, which you all know, Sarah, she's been a part of us. She was with Wake Up ATL. Hope is new, right? She auditioned, and I just loved her energy, and I needed some melanin in our shows as well. So it just makes sense to switch up the show, T, because simply it fits, it makes sense. I'm excited for this change. I'm really, really happy about this change simply because now I have two wonderful ladies that are on the show, and it's just gonna help blossom the show a little bit more, and it's gonna cater to my female audiences. Really, we look at the market, guys. We look at the market to see what's going on, and that's just the market right now. And K.L.P Entertainment, me being CEO, I like to change things up when they need to be changed, right? And I think this is a great, great addition. Like I say, the Highlight Culture is a new show from K.L.P Entertainment. All sports. We talk nothing but sports on that show. We did, I want to say, what was it? Like two episodes this week. If you guys catch our podcast on Monday and then the two episodes during the week, it's been a busy, busy week for K.L.P Entertainment. If you guys know, I posted a lot of content. We'll get to what we need to get to. I'm very, very excited, first and foremost, because in the gaming realm, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is available and is out now. I'm here to say I won't do a review on this episode because I haven't played the game yet. Today is Friday. I played the game yesterday, just a little bit. With the little bit of time I've had yesterday, I was able to play it. Good game. Really, really good game, but I won't give my full review until Monday's episode because I got to play more of it through the weekend so I can give you guys a thorough review of how I felt about Metroid Prime 4. Available now on Switch 2, which is, look, I will say this, Metroid Prime 4 got an 80% out of most gaming review companies. I think that's actually pretty good. I think that's not bad. An 80 is still a B in my book. Pre-ordered, very, very excited. I had a friend, shout out to my friend Muncie, my friend Lee, of course. They bought their copy of Metroid Prime 4. I can't wait to talk to them about it, but look, it's a very, very good score. In my opinion, it's still a great game with all the resolutions and some change ups. Again, won't do my full review until I play more of it over this weekend. So stay tuned for Monday's episode as I do a thorough review of Metro Prime 4 when I get ready to do that review on this podcast. But we've been busy too. Wednesday. I got to say, shout out to Wednesday. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Of course, you guys know I need to talk about it. If you follow me on social media, I posted a video or a sneak peek and a video on all social medias because that's just what we do. And I was able to go to a Hawks game this Wednesday. Very, very excited for that. Again, Lawrence Bank, I still don't understand your decision to send Chris Paul home. Let me tell you something about Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul plays for the LA Clippers along with James Harden, and that's who we played on Wednesday. Got our butt smoked by the Clippers. We did, which was sad because the Clippers they're not really having a great season this season. So it sucks that we lost to them Clippers. But Chris Paul has been in the NBA for a very, very long time now, doing over 2 decades of this sports team. And I can see why the Clippers fans were upset. I can see why Stephen A. Smith was very pissed off and upset because it's just kind of disrespectful for Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul has announced that he is retiring within this year. After this season, he says, I'm done. I'm getting a little bit older. I'm touching 40. I think it's time for me to retire. I've made my money. I've made my mark. I am him. So it's time for me to take some time, retire my jersey so I can enjoy the fruits of my labor, the money part, right? Because obviously when NBA stars, they retire, they're not just sitting at home just chilling in the bed. No, they're going to invest in some stuff. They're going to get onto some media stuff, maybe some acting, maybe some charitable work, right? Chris Paul, I've been following Chris Paul kind of closely, not as close as most people think I would, but Chris Paul, I know of this superstar. I do know of his talents, and he's him. Now, sometimes he's been some He's been in some heavy hearts when it comes down to the backstage locker room, but you cannot deny Chris Paul's name and his legacy in this sport, being the National Basketball League. And for you to send someone home from Atlanta, like Chris Paul is on timeout. You did something back, so now we're gonna send you home because you need to be on timeout, right? Chris Paul is a professional ball player, professional in all around, right? I do think this was kind of a disrespect, T. I really, really do think this was a disrespect towards Chris Paul. I can understand that he's pissed off. I think, we'll wait to see what happens because, the trade deadline, he can still get traded, right? He can either get traded or they can waive his salary off and pay him out his salary for the season, right? Which was what, $3.4 million, I think this salary cap was for Chris Paul. I think he's making more than that. But they can pay him out and say, hey, we don't want you no more the rest of this season, but here's your payout, right? Very, very interesting for Chris Paul. But, Atlanta Hawks Wednesday night, very, very cool. We were able to get it there at State Farm Arena. And let me tell you, every time I step into State Farm Arena, it's always a vibe, right? It's always a vibe when you go to State Farm Arena, whether it's a concert, WWE might be in town, or to an Atlanta Hawks game. So we pull up in there, we got the VIP, and then what I'm saying, I'm just taking you guys through my experience. It's not for me to flex or me to brag or anything like that. But we went through VIP, felt a little special, It was special Wednesday night because it was Outkast night, ladies and gentlemen. And you guys know Outkast. That's Big Boy and Andre 3 Stacks, of course. Andre 3000, that's the group that formed Outkast. And they celebrated. We celebrated, Outkast. They're doing their thing. They're having a great time. Big Boy and Sleepy Brown was there. And I heard Killer Mike was there. People saw Killer Mike. I didn't see Killer Mike, but I'm going to take it that people saw Killer Mike. Killer Mike was there, obviously, right? Because Killer Mike, although he wasn't in the group Outkast, he did a lot of songs with Andre 3000 and Big Boy, right? That's Atlanta. So, Andre 3000 wasn't there, which makes sense. My brother, shout out to my big brother, because it was my big brother, my brother-in-law, and my mom's significant other, Tony. Shout out to him. Shout out to all of them. That's who I went with. Bros night. So my big brother did mention something very, very interesting, and it makes sense, right? Andre 3000 has made his mark. He has, right? Andre 3 Stacks probably wouldn't come to a tribute or shout out to his group for something like that unless you're paying him the big bucks to do it. Now, Big Boy's a little different, right? Big Boy's going to go to these events because, hey, it's getting some eyes on me. And sometimes when WWE is in town, you best believe Killer Mike or Big Boy will be there because, honestly, it's just the pop. They're obviously not paying tickets to go see. I'm sure Big Boy didn't pay tickets to go for his own tribute. No, you get in for free, obviously. And you get to sit courtside, courtside seats. You don't need to pay for your own tribute. That's not how you're supposed to do that. But it's good to see Big Boy. I'm a big fan of Outkast, Andre, and Big Boy. I listen to a lot of their songs. It was very interesting. Like I mentioned, Sleepy Brown was there. And Sleepy Brown is a good artist, but, it's been a minute, right? I like the way you move. That's his one-hit wonder. And I don't mean that as a disrespectful thing there, but, and maybe because Sleepy Brown, I'm not in that generation a little bit with most of his songs. So that's the way you move is the only song that I know from Sleepy Brown. Do I know of Sleepy Brown? Yes, I do, because of that song and because of his likeness. But a lot of the youngsters probably won't know a lot of Gen Z definitely don't know who Sleepy Brown could be, right? But again, we slide in there, VIP. We were at the Horace Cherokee VIP. That is a casino that has sponsored the game. And, they had a free buffet. All you can eat. I ate like a fatty, with the pasta and the beef and the salad. Very, very scrumptious, too. It was very good. And then they had candy. They had popcorn. It was my day off from the gym, right? I've had 2 days off. I'm going to the gym today, Friday, after this recording session. But I needed 2 days to relax from the gym because I've been pumping in the gym a lot, and my body. I do say to a lot of gym goers, it's good to go to the gym as much as you can, but listen to your body. Your body will ache, and things will be achy, and you're not getting that full effect workout because your muscles are trying to recruit from the muscle tear that you've been doing. So I ate like a fatty. I did. I needed a night just to eat, live, breathe a minute. And of course, we saw the game. The Hawks put up a good fight. I'm not going to say that they didn't do well, but they got smashed a little bit. They really did. And when you have, and let me tell you, a lot of people don't like the Clippers. I get it. I'm a big Chris Paul fan. I'm a big James Harden fan. I like James Harden. I do. So when you're going against James Harden, he's gonna do his thing. With the beard and everything, James Harden's gonna do his thing, right? It's just one of those things that it does happen. But shout out to the Hawks. It was a great time. I will say this: at the buffet, the all-you-can-eat buffet, and then they had these like the collectibles too, like the little action figures of Big Boy and Andre. They gave them to the first 5,000 people. I was mad because I think we missed it. But we went in there to the buffet. A lot of sweet honeys down there. I will say that. A lot of sweet honeys was down in that buffet. I was looking spiffy. I got my coat on, looking good. Got my nice shoes on, repping the Hawks. A lot of honeys was like, hey, who is he? Right? And I was feeling myself a little bit because I was eating my food. And then I was looking because if you guys know, I'm growing out my beard and mustache back. I know. Usually I like the clean shave look, ladies and gentlemen. But I think of course, going to continue getting my hair cut. That's a no-brainer. I'm not letting my hair grow out. The haircut stays. But I think I am letting my beard, mustache, goatee combo grow back because if you guys remember years ago, and I say years ago, but it wasn't that long ago. I want to say about maybe 3 years ago, I had like the long beard, and it was great. But obviously, when I was applying for different positions and my face was being used for different positions and different opportunities, I had to shave and look more presentable. But now we're kind of in the shape already, and I already made those positions. So I think I'm getting ready to and I don't think I know. I'm growing out my beard, my mustache combo, and I'm just going to stick with it and see how long it's going to be. I think I like it. I think a lot of ladies, even at the Hawks game, they noticed like, hey, you do that. And maybe some ladies at the gym too. Shout out to Crunch Nailville. I think a lot of the ladies are starting to understand that, with me getting more swoller, a little bit, thinner a little bit, but with the beard, goatee, like makes me look a little bit more mature, a little bit more of a grown up. I always, because I get this thing a lot, team and audience, that when I would shave my face clean shaved, I look younger, and I want to say that's a good thing, but you get surprised. You think I would get mixed up with a Gen Zer. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm super young. I'm of the age of 29, but I don't really claim Gen Z. I don't. I think I'm on the very tail end of the millennials. Like I just missed it by just a hair because I was born in 1996, but I wasn't born in the 2000s, right? No, I was 96. I'm nowhere near the early 2000s. Early 2000s, yeah, you're Gen Z. You're all the way through and through. So I don't claim the Gen Z of myself. I claim just the between millennial and like right on the breath of Gen Z, right? That's where I see it because I am young. 29 is very young. I joke with people say, oh, I'm getting old. No, 29 is very, 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 very young. But I think, the beard combo mustache look, I like it. I like the way it makes me look. I like that it makes me look more of a manly man, I guess. I don't know, because we don't really gentrify anything, but it makes me look more manly, I guess, if that's a thing, when I try to do it. So very, very good for the Hawks game. And like I'm going to that point, T, a lot of the sweet honeys, they were in there. Like the ladies that were there, they got that money because it was VIP. That we paid premium for it. So you best believe people will probably just leave their big corporate office to go to the Hawks game. But it's always a vibe to go to a basketball game. If you haven't been to a basketball game, it's not too late. The Hawks. I'm representing the Hawks, even though they got smashed by the Clippers a few days ago. I'm repping the Hawks because I like to rep my Atlanta city and the Atlanta teams, even though I want to rep these Falcons, but they're not also doing well. One basketball game that I want to go to that I probably won't make this year is going to a New York Knicks game. I'm a huge Knicks. Okay, I'm a Knicks fan, but I'm also a OKC fan because I freaking love Gilgeous Alexander, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. One of my favorite players, right? It's him. Tyrese Halliburton's another one. Jalen Brunson's another one, right? I really love OKC because I love their colors. I love their style. Gilgeous-Alexander is very, very talented. It's the same thing with Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton, again, he's hurt, so I'm still a fan, but I mean he's hurt. So, but the New York Knicks game is what I want to go to at the Madison Square Garden because I bet it's a vibe up there in New York. Probably won't make it to New York this time around, but I'm gonna make that happen where I'm going to a New York Knicks game. I promise you that. But shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Shout out to Outkast, Big Boy, and three Stacks. It was a vibe. It was a whole good vibe. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, go to a basketball game. You will not be disappointed. A lot of sweet honeys that come in there, and it's really quite amazing. So coming up next, I wanted to talk about real briefly. I can't do a full review. I can't. I'm sorry. But I want to talk about Bel-Air season 4. So I finished All Her Fault. Big thriller, right? It was I'm sorry, spoiler alert. It was the husband's fault, essentially, right? And husband dies because, Sarah Snook's character, Marissa, kills her. You just got to see the show. Yeah, All Her Fault. It's available on Peacock. You got to see it. It's great. I think that's it. With All Her Fault, I don't think we need to see season 2, season 3. I think that you just told your story right there. But Bel-Air season 4 is available right now. And I've got mixed feelings about season 4 simply because I don't think that this wasn't the oh my god, holy shit moments in season 4 so far. Right? I tell you a couple of things that were predictable. Right? Here's the predictable number 1. Hillary Banks is not in the season. Coco Jones plays her. Obviously, they filmed this season previously towards the mix of last year, or a couple of months ago, where Coco Jones had her new album out. She's performing at some stuff. She did WrestleMania 40 within the year, right? She's promoting that new album. So I knew she wasn't going to be a side story for season 4 this time around because Coco Jones is promoting her music. I think Coco Jones loved the acting, but she loves her music more, which I don't hate her for it. I'm not upset for her. Hey, music all the way. And I'm not trying to be gross or sexual because I'm trying to, be not lustful, but it's sad to see not sexy ass Coco Jones in Bel-Air, right? I'm sorry. I know she's engaged. I know she's getting ready to marry, but Coco Jones is that dark chocolate that you just can't resist. So, and I'm not trying to sexualize her because besides her, she's a very, very good artist. I love her songs. I love her acting, but it just makes me sad that, she put Bel-Air kind of on the shelf because, she had other obligations, right? So that was predictable. Predictable number 1. Predictable number 2. Ashley Banks, the young girl. She's going through puberty. She's going through grown life. She's becoming a woman, so she has all kinds of nasty attitude. I kind of saw that coming, right? I wanted that storyline to be not inappropriate because Ashley Banks, I forgot her actual name, but she is a young lady. So I don't want anything inappropriate for this young lady. But I was kind of hoping the writers would write something that was like, oh my God. Like Ashley Banks, she's about 14. She's, she's going through puberty. She's, having her first boyfriend and, she's drinking at a young age. That's so predictable, in my opinion, right? There's nothing new when it comes down to these family shows where the young kid, whether it's the daughter or the son, they're going through growing up as a preteen. And so now they're going to, kiss their first significant boyfriend or girlfriend. They're going to do their first drug. There's nothing new to that, right? I don't really understand the angle of Vivian Banks pregnant with another kid. I see it. I didn't think the Banks had, another kid. I didn't think they did that in the sitcom. And maybe I might be missing something, but I didn't really get that angle. Maybe I kind of get it because Vivian Banks, Cassandra, I forgot her last name, but her first name's Cassandra. She, she's pregnant. Her character, she's pregnant, and she doesn't gel well with the young moms who are pregnant because she already had about 3 kids. So she's been there, done that. So I can see that she's getting kind of lonely a little bit because now Phil Banks, played by Adrian Holmes, very good actor. He's running around with Jeffrey because Jeffrey is some shit. Now that's the interesting part, that Jeffrey is in some shit in this show. And it is true because Bel Air on Peacock is a darker version of the sitcom, right? The sitcom was a lighter situational comedy, right? That's what it was. Jeffrey in that, you didn't really have Jeffrey in some shit, some drug lord, some mafia type stuff in the sitcom. Same thing with Carlton. Carlton was just nerdy in the sitcom, but Carlton in this is nerdy, but he's an addict, right? He's trying to get to Princeton. He's trying to get through some tough stuff. He stole his ex-girlfriend's story about how he drowned in the pool, but he didn't drown in the pool. His girlfriend drowned in the pool. But Carlton is really ready to do anything and to smash over anybody to make sure that he get through on top. Like I say, and then Will, the main star, Jabari Banks, Will Smith Jabari Banks plays Will. Nothing new, right? There's nothing like, oh my God, about like the last 2 seasons, there was some holy shit moments that made me go, holy shit. But I feel like this season, there's not a holy shit moment, or at least not to me. And I get it because this is the last season ever of the show. I get it. The show is canceled after 4 seasons. I get the expectations is not high for excuse me. The expectation is not high for this season because this show's about to end anyway. I get it. But I really wish there were some holy shit moments. I really, really do, because it just was, if you're going to, because you can't, Bel Air is prominent from the sitcom, and sitcom is an iconic sitcom along with Martin and all the other sitcom shows. Fresh Prince of Bel Air is a staple, right? And it's sad that this season, again, doesn't have that holy shit moment, and it just kind of, you could skip season 4 if you really wanted to. Now, will I skip it? No, because it gives me something to watch, something to, but I wouldn't really skip this season because it gives me something to watch. But a lot of people who just didn't care so much for it, they could skip it. And it's sad because Fresh Prince of Bel Air is a staple, right? Nothing new with Fresh Prince of Bel Air season 4. Honestly, I was kind of hoping like, okay, this is the last one. Let's see what they're gonna do. But we'll wait and see. Like I said, I can't give you a full review because I haven't finished all the episodes yet because we've been busy with shows. But it's just one of those things that, it happens, and I hope that everyone really, really enjoys a lot of things that come out within these shows for sure. Now I'm gonna turn it back over to myself again. We're gonna switch again because we're gonna talk about the latest in sports right now. So let's get into it. It seems Giannis' watch has taken another turn. Sources told ESPN's Shams Charania on Wednesday that Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent are having conversations with the franchise about the two-time MVP's future with Milwaukee or elsewhere. Antetokounmpo, who the Bucks said suffered a right calf strain early in their win over the Eastern Conference leading Detroit Pistons, will miss up to 4 weeks. But whether he is on the court or not, speculation about this saga's next step will continue. Where do things stand between player and franchise? Can general manager John Horst, who has never shied away from making deals to build around the Bucks superstar, swing another to bolster the supporting cast? And which landing spots make the most sense should Milwaukee open trade talks for Giannis? Our NBA insiders examine the trade market and best potential fits for Antetokounmpo, including 5 deals that could reshape the 2026 NBA title race and beyond. Where do Giannis and the Bucks stand right now? A hush fell over Fiserv Forum only 3 minutes into Wednesday's game against the Pistons when Antetokounmpo crumpled to the court with a calf injury. And although the Bucks believe they have avoided the worst-case scenario, Coach Doc Rivers said the team has ruled out an Achilles injury. They will still wait for MRI results to see how long their star will be sidelined. Before the game, Rivers vehemently denied the idea that the team and Antetokounmpo have begun discussing the next steps, pointing to the Bucks' current skid. Wednesday was just their second win in the past 10 games. As the reason Antetokounmpo's future was in question, speculation also swirled around Antetokounmpo because he recently cleared out his social media feed, although a source close to him told ESPN he had done so a few weeks ago, not in response to the team's recent struggles. Milwaukee has believed a strong season would be enough to quell speculation, but the team went 0-4 when their two-time MVP was sidelined last month with a groin injury. Sources within the organization told ESPN on Wednesday they were hopeful that when Antetokounmpo and Kevin Porter Jr. are healthy, the Bucks could start playing better in the coming weeks. And they saw some proof of that when Milwaukee rallied for a victory behind 26 points from Porter with Antetokounmpo sidelined. I think Giannis will be proud of us that we were able to come back and finish the game, get a win, Porter said after the contest. Still, the rest of the league will be monitoring Milwaukee closely. Sources from several teams told ESPN they were meeting soon to discuss a potential trade package for Antetokounmpo targeting December 15th, when players across the league who signed this past offseason can be moved. One thing to keep in mind is that Antetokounmpo is eligible to sign a 4-year, $275 million extension with Milwaukee or a team he is traded to starting on October 15th. 2026, a team trading for Antetokounmpo will need to have confidence that an extension is likely to happen before giving up significant players or draft picks. If there is no extension, Antetokounmpo will likely become a free agent in the 2027 offseason. Jamal Collier, can the Bucks still improve the roster around Giannis? Don't underestimate Horst when it comes to improving the roster around Antetokounmpo. Since 2020, Milwaukee has made 17 trades, including deals for Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, and Kyle Kuzma. With limited options this past summer, Horst took an unprecedented move, waiving and stretching the contract of Lillard to sign free agent center Miles Turner. As the Bucks tumble in the standings and with Antetokounmpo's future in Milwaukee in question, Horst will be asked if there is yet another move to bolster the supporting cast. It's unlikely such a deal will be available. While every player on the Bucks roster is eligible to be traded starting December 15th, except for Ryan Rollins and AJ Green. Rollins won't be eligible until January 15, and Green not at all. Milwaukee has boxed itself into a corner in terms of tradable options. The roster features 11 players earning between $2.2 million to $5.1 million, which leaves the Bucks with $60 million in contracts from Turner, Kuzma, and Portis. All 3 players have at least 2 years remaining. More importantly, the Bucks don't control their own first-round pick until 2031, leaving them with one tradable first in that year's draft or in 2032.
Milwaukee sending Pat Connaughton to the Charlotte Hornets to make room to sign Turner has left the Bucks with no second rounders. One area of strength, the Bucks are below both luxury tax aprons enough to take back salary in a potential deal. They do owe $20.2 million to Lillard in each of the next 5 years, including this season. The Hawks have the unique ability to help Milwaukee regain its own picks as part of a post-Giannis rebuild. Technically, Atlanta controls only shares of picks.
And that will wrap it up here on our show here today, K.L.P Aftermath Podcast, Friday's edition. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to say thank you guys so very much. If you guys missed it, our new show, The Highlight Culture, is highlighting the top culture in sports. Is myself, T's on the show, Mark and Xavion's on the show, Sarah and Hope is on the show. It is a great show. It is a show that you guys do not want to miss. Audio only, right, for our Heart Radio and everywhere. But it is a great show to listen to. And if you love K.L.P Aftermath Podcast, stay tuned because Monday we're going to be back with a brand new episode as I talk about Metroid Prime 4. I'm going after the gym later this weekend to play some more on that so I can give you guys a full review for the K.L.P Aftermath Podcast. Until then, I say so long, stay safe, have a great weekend, and stay swanky.